Welcome back to Sports Desk. Let's get some reaction to the big story of the day. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim has left the door open for Marcus Rashford at the club, despite the forward saying that he is ready for a new challenge. So where will the England striker end up? We can hear now from the Premier League's record goal scorer, Alan Shearer. He made his intentions clear, and whether the club knew about that or not, they probably didn't. But then the manager comes out and has his say in the press conference, which you have to realize that he's got an asset to protect as well in terms of the football club. So they'll be looking to try and get the best fee possible. So he can't come out and say too much against him or what he said. So yeah, I guess they'll come to an agreement and they'll work out what's best for both parties. What do you think that the response would be from his teammates for him coming out and saying that maybe he needs a fresh start? I would imagine he's got a lot of friends in the dressing room, so they may understand that. I know how dressing rooms work. He was obviously very frustrated that he wouldn't have been in the team at the weekend or in the squad, but you've got to understand it from a manager's point of view. He's come into a team, he's been hired to try and find a format in a successful way. So he's got to look at different options, and he's chosen to leave him out, and they've won the game, which ultimately is the best answer for the manager. So he can say to the players, and the players can understand where he wants to go with that football club. And I think the size of the club, and he can't afford to carry any passengers. It's been spoken a lot from the club's perspective so far. But do you think from Marcus Rashford, the player, that a fresh start seems to be the right thing given the way his form has dipped off in the last 18 months or so? I think there's no doubt about it. There's huge ability and talent in Marcus. We've seen that when he scored over 30 goals. We haven't seen that for a while now, which has been difficult, I guess, for him. I don't know his personal life. I don't know what's going on in the dressing room or what's going on at home, if anything. So it's really difficult to comment. And I think certainly with the way players are and attitudes are nowadays, then they'll come to some agreement and they'll do what's best for the football club, as what always happens. It's slightly sad. I think Marcus has been obviously a brilliant player, and I think he's probably got his troubles. I mean, I interviewed him before the cup final a year or two ago when he was in form and things were going well, but even then you could sense there's a deepness to him. And so I hope he's okay, first and foremost. That's important because we don't really all understand the circumstances of footballers sometimes, and it's easy to have a pine on people and have opinions, but obviously his form has been troubled. He's not been as special as he can be in the last 18 months or so. So whether a parting of the ways is inevitable or not, I don't know. I hope he rallies and performs well, because you know he's a big player, and Manchester United's a huge football club, and he said he wants him to battle on and keep going, so hopefully that will happen. But there comes a time sometimes when perhaps a parting of the ways is necessary. I don't know whether it's reached that or not. How much do you think it's connected to the churn Manchester United, and for the fact that so long tactically they've sort of looked a little bit aimless and you're not quite sure what they're trying to achieve? I think United have struggled for some time, and I think sometimes we judge the players when, things are not going well on the pitch. It makes it more difficult for people to shine. So, they've gone through a particularly tough spell at United over the last couple of years, really, with the exception of winning the FA Cup. But I think overall, it'd be interesting to see if they can get a manager that gets them going, and then the players' confidence will bounce back. We've seen at Chelsea this season. Last season, you look at some of the players on the pitch that are now performing really well. They're performing really poorly. It just shows you how important confidence is and a little bit of momentum. So that might happen with the new manager. We'll have to wait and see. But obviously, there's been a lot wrong at Manchester United. Their recruitment's been really poor, particularly in recent times. The amount of money they spent with under 10 hard that they've brought in, the club's under not new ownership, but a different kind of ownership with Jim Ratcliffe moving in. But so far, I don't think it's done to say it's been fairly shambolic at times, but it takes time. It takes time, and they'll need some time because they're a long way behind at the moment.